In every relationship, sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. But the basic truth is that is what love is really about. Today we're having a guest who is going to share her experiences of love and where love has taken her. I'd like to say a very big thank you to our sponsor, Fun Yoga Nutrition on the Go, and our supporters, Yas Washing Powder, Yas Sanitary Pad, Special Ice Mineral Water, and special drinks. I also want to say a very big thank you to Hooch Con and Choco Flakes for their support. And of course, to La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, where we record every time. And to my trusted investment partner, Swift by Dalex Finance. All you have to do is take your phone, dial 721 and follow the voice prompt. Or you can just dial *721# and follow all the instructions that comes after. And I keep telling you, you can save 1 cedi a day, you can save 2 cedis a day, you can save 5 cedis a day, and if the money is really coming, you can do 500 cedis a day. You save for a better tomorrow. Dalex Swift, Menai Sibriviso. Well, today is going to be amazing, but before I go on, I will say thank you to Nancy Black, as usual, for my makeup, to Roji One Studio. Roji, thank you very much for my hair. Roji is located at Kokompe Eye Clinic. Thank you, Roji. And of course, to Ophelia of ABS Collection for my outfit. Please let's welcome our guest for today, Madam Matilda Ohineba Edua.
Welcome to the end of the tunnel. See a bright light shining through.
Hi, Matilda. How are you? I'm good. Have a seat. Finally, we're here.
Very much.
Finally, and I love your spirit.
Wow.
Matilda sent me a message on social media, so we've been chatting. She's like, I really want to come share my story, and she does know how to push. So Matilda, I'm going to ask you to do something.
Wow.
For all the push you gave me, I want you to sign up to Swift.
Oh, I'll do that.
You have to. So I'll assign someone to you right after the interview.
All right.
You'll be saving for a better tomorrow for you and the children.
All right then.
How are you?
I'm fine.
When did you get married?
That was in 1998, way back.
Wow. And how old were you then?
I was only 20.
You got married at 20?
20, yes. I wanted it fast.
What was the rush? I mean, I mean, 20, that is like too young.
Right after school, I was a very beautiful girl as a young girl.
You're still beautiful.
And I had too many people disturbing me at the back. So at a point, I decided to get them off my back, to have my peace, to get settled down, so that nobody would disturb me. So I thought marriage
at 20 years?
Yes, I thought marriage was the best way to get people off my back, no disturbances. So I decided to settle down.
So was it for love, or it was specifically to get people off your back?
Well, at that age, I wasn't so exposed. Believe you me, now I would say I didn't know what I was doing, because I don't really know whether it was for love, whatever it was. But for me, the decision to push guys off my back was one thing, and I was just close to this person I married to, who had shared his story, and I was so passionate about him. So probably that also pushed me into just trying to settle down with him, to see how best I can also make him happy.
And were your parents happy?
Not at all. Especially my mom. My mom was always against it. My mom said it was a no-no. But I was a daddy's girl. My dad was a chief of his major Santaman.
So you're a princess?
Yes. My dad would buy to anything I say. Whether it was good or bad, my dad believed in me. He had always said that I know what is right and wrong, and I know what I really want for myself. So my dad is always with me. So my decisions, he will sit down with me. Are you sure this is what you want? Once I say yes, he will push it through.
Give you the support.
Yes. So for my mom, it was a no-no. For my dad, he called me and said, do you think you love this man? I said yes. And do you think this is what you want right after school? Because I want to educate you to the very top. I was an intelligent girl, first in class all the time, most often. So my dad said that I want you to study. So I promised that marriage is not the end of the journey. I want to settle down. I'll pursue my dream, study for you, and get there. Then he said, okay, once you know what to do, I'm with you. So doing the arrangements and everything, My dad supported. My mom was never there. She just wouldn't support it. Especially the fact that the guy I was marrying to was an illiterate. My mom said, no, it can't be. Yeah, that was it. So for my mom, she saw the biggest mistake I was doing for my life. But for me, well, whether it was love or whatever was pushing me, I wouldn't stop at anything to reverse my decision. So I got married. Finally, my mom just came for the program on that day, organizing everything. My mom wasn't part, but with my dad, with my stepsisters, we organized it, and my mom had to come represent. So she came, and we did it, and then that was it. I got married, but it was tough anyway. Being educated and being married to an illiterate, it was very challenging. And then looking at me, someone who had always dreamed to be in the media front, to be a journalist, I'm the outgoing person. Not really outgoing, but I'm always someone who would want to be in public, to be talking, to go around, like
very
that was it.
Yes,
that was it. And my husband, being an illiterate, who wouldn't have that self-confidence, he was always very afraid, you know, that one. So it was very challenging, coping. But for me, I said that no matter what, I'll make things work for us. So I strive. I decided that there's no going back because it was my decision. People told me that it was wrong, but I said it was right. So I'll have to make it right for myself. So I said, okay, I'll make it work no matter what. And there was no way I was going to back out of it because I have taken a decision and I must be in it. But financially, things kept getting...
Was he working?
Yeah, he was here. Before I married him, he had come from South Korea, where he stayed for 4 years, and had come down. So he really wasn't even settled when we got married. So we were deciding on what to do. And then as we were struggling, things went very bad. So we decided that he should go again when he went for another 2 years. But during that time, I was working. I was working with Kesben Traveling. So I also came to work with CityLink. We were the pioneers to manage it whilst he was away. So at the point, we started our own business. He would bring the spare parts down, and I would go to the port, get them. I acquired the shop at the magazine, and it was good. I managed to run things up to a level where I said it was too stressful. I had to go to work, and before he went, I had one child. Go to work, take care of the child, sometimes be at the ports. It was too stressful, my age and all the responsibilities. My mom had traveled to stay in the UK with my big brother, so I had also taken up a responsibility at home, taking care of my younger siblings. So it was huge for me. So I said, okay, why don't you come down and together we work? But as soon as he came, I mean, things went bad again. We lost everything once more. And it was very challenging. So the money wasn't enough to do the international business that we were doing. So we had to find some local business. So we decided to run some boutique and a drinking spot. And that one too, it did not work for us. At a point, everything was gone once again.
Three times in your life?
3 times in our lives. So, but I'm a daring person. Like, I pushed. I never gave up on anything. Once I have to get it, I will have to. So no matter what happens, I called my mom. I told her, things are bad. I mean, we can't even afford a meal. So my mom was like, she always talks, you know, you don't listen to me. Anytime I go to her, she complains. But after the complaining, she will do anything to help. And my dad, he was a wonderful person. He always wanted to see me happy. So my dad would do anything. My dad raised money for us again. My mom also brought a lot of money for me. And I went into movie production So that time I
Never
produced Papa Breath for Papa. I produced a movie called Julemu and Sankwine. It was one of these local movies. And that time, Ejako has just surfaced in the movie industry and it was a big thing. So after that, I had some money. I took some loan from the bank and I reinvested with my husband and we went into building materials. And then my dad also supported us with a Kia truck to also help us to run the business because we needed a car to do that. We went to it and we're doing it. I was operating a supermarket in one shop and the cement was in the other one and my husband was running it. So by that time I'd been able to buy a plot of land, and we built that house, a 4-bedroom house. And I used my daughter's name, my first daughter's name. Then we had 3 kids. I used my first daughter's name. So as we were running, later my husband brought a girl he calls a secretary. But for me, I was too naive, always busy working and getting things done. So I didn't care, but people were just talking that they are too close, they were surfacing that there was something. So I also decided to study, women, our curiosity.
You decided to get nosy.
Yes, so I'll pick his phones, late night talks, and then the same number I investigated to do, and it was this girl. So there was a big problem. And
the secretary?
Yes, the one he calls the secretary. And then there was a big problem between us, and then our parents, my father and his mom, they came in, and then it was settled that the girl should leave the shop. And then she left. So I was there with him. But it was probably I should have let her stay, because where we had our business, that was where the girl was staying. And it was like she was at my neck. She wouldn't leave him. I mean, they were sharing their love, teasing each other. Right in front of me, it was heartbreaking. So that time, I was always crying. And my dad said, okay, I know you are too disturbed with this thing. Leave them, give them space. I mean, if you are not there to see it, I mean, it wouldn't hurt you. Just be home and find something to do. You were working, maybe find some job, leave it to him, he's the man. I said, okay. So I left the place and to be in the house, and I started some baking, doing some supply. They were enjoying their life. By the time I realized my husband they have squandered the money again. And for me, that time I was, how much will you get from baking small bread, and with this responsibility of 3 kids and then running. So he came again to me and said, everything is gone. He pleaded with me. So, but we had nothing, and people were just fed up with us. We can't be setting you up every day and you come back again. So that time, I think everybody was tired, fed up. So we had the house. So he suggested that we should sell the house and reinvest the money. And then I said, okay.
After he had gone to enjoy with the secretary.
With the woman. But I am the married woman there. We had kids, and we need to get the kids to school. So I had no choice. I actually asked him to go ahead and sell it. But I don't know, for about 3 months, he was struggling to get it sold. Nobody was coming to buy it. So I prayed to God, and then I went to our church elder one day. I went to cry before him, knelt before him, and said, Dad, you need to help us. You have to give us loan or buy the house out. And I went there several times, like I was pushing. I pushed and he said, okay, I think I will have to help you the way you are stressing up. Then I said, okay. And you can't believe how much we sold a 4-bedroom house for. I mean, about 10,000, 11,000 or so. It was really hurting. But yes, a whole 4-bedroom big house, complete house with a big plot before. It was really hurting, but we had no choice. But then, that time, the man said that, you've sold your life out, because this time building another house, it's not easy. So make sure you plan your lives well, and you live with this money. Start your life once again and rebuild your life, and don't mess up this time. He paid first 9,000. The first day he got the money, my husband stopped talking to me. That was when their love increased. you know. So I went to the man and said, hey. And then when we were going to that business, my mom gave us, he didn't give it to us, it was me she gave to, £4,500. And because I had also done the movie, I used my accounts to loan the money of 9,000 Ghana cedis. And we started that business, and my dad had also came in to help. So I was owing the bank, and we sold this house, so probably I was in debt. And I gave everything to him. That was the end of the story. My husband just went away, and then he was enjoying with this woman. He wouldn't mind me. So I went to him and said, Dad, this is what he's doing. But then that time, my mom's money, she said it wasn't for me. I should work and repay
to her.
But prior to that, I'd also bought 2 plots of land for my mom. And this man came before we sold the house, said, oh, the chiefs are after him. That if we are not developing, then they are selling it. So I should sell it, I should sell it. I said, why? Other people's lands are there, why mine? So he pushed and pushed, and at the end of the day, he sold one of them. And God knows, I mean, he gave me half of the money, saying that was how. I got to know later, but it was too late. So all those things had gone into this very business, and now he has taken over everything. I had to be in the house. So I got the 2,000. I realized then that I was pregnant with my 4th child.
So you have 4 children?
Yes, I was pregnant. And that time he had left me for, we were staying in my uncle's house then. So he had left me to his family house. And then one day he came around. I was just happy my husband had come back to me because he was not coming there. And that was just the day. It was almost about a year. And I was pregnant that day. And he had a big issue that once it was a day, the child was not his. So that was, I mean, the worst of it all. Throughout my pregnancy, he didn't mind me. I had to struggle through life. It was difficult. So I had collected the last 2,000 and kept in the bank. So I had to manage with the kids. And I was always praying and hoping that my husband comes back. Then
Even at that time, you still loved him?
For me, it was my decision. Everybody, there was not, apart from my dad, there wasn't a single person who supported the marriage. Everybody just told me it won't work because we are ways apart.
Restoration.
And for me, I don't know, some girlfriends he had even came around and said, this is not the man you should marry. He's just too bad for you. But I don't know, I wouldn't listen. And I think he rode on the path that I'm passionate about people, especially when people are vulnerable. Like I'll show you, I spend most of my time visiting orphanages and those vulnerable homes. I'm very passionate about vulnerable people. And so he will pretend, when he comes around, he will pretend he's crying, he's pretend, I mean...
He's an actor.
Yes, very good. Such an actor. So, yes, so anytime he comes around, I'll look at it and I'll raise up my head to God and say, he's still my husband. So why not? And I'll get him back. Did
you ever complain to the church? I mean, anybody, an elder, your father? Did you talk to anybody about it?
The family knew it. Everybody knows it. But what they knew was that I love him. And they should leave me because no matter what they would do, I'll still get him back. So it was like everybody will not say anything. Let her do what she wants to. So it was left to me to do what I want to. And it wasn't like I loved my husband so much. For me, I know that marriage is sacred and it's a covenant before God. And we must hold this as such. And it's not like nobody advised me. People said, this is not the marriage you get into. And I did. So I was ready to face the consequences and go through all the challenges, but make it work no matter what. So I was just getting him back, and I decided to get him back in 1,000 times and more once he repents and come back, because he's my husband, because I feel that there's a covenant and it was before God. So no matter what, he said for worse. So if I had the worst parts, I have to enjoy it no matter what. So he goes and comes, I get him back. And he was building another house when I thought that my husband will complete the house and definitely he will come for me and the kids. We were then staying in my uncle's house. So after the house was completed, he came for the kids. So I was happy that once he has come for the kids, definitely, I mean, it's a sign that he wants me, but just that maybe he was finding it difficult to come. So there was a time I went there and I went to meet one of his mistresses. The first one had gone and another one was in the house. And then I stayed there and he asked me to leave the house. I was like quite reluctant, and believe you me, he beat me until I was almost dying. There was a next door neighbor. He came around and picked me and went to hospital. He said I have to report it. So I went to the police station, Central Police Station, Kumasi. I logged the complaint, and then they went there. And when I went there, blood was all over me, every place.
He beat you that bad?
Ah, that bad.
And where was the mistress?
She was around. And
what did she say? What did she
they
do?
enjoy, and then it was like that. So when they asked me to take an X-ray, I had this big damage on my chest. And yes, it was serious. But then the sad part of it was that the CID that was assigned to investigate, he told me that if I come there, he will beat me and kill me and pay his way out, because this is Ghana and we know it. So the CID that was assigned to take the case, investigate, I don't know, they were very close. So after I keep going and coming,
he kept tossing you.
He tossing me, and at the end of the day, I realized that nothing was going to happen, so I have to give it. But
so he just beat you
for free, and I lay down for 1 month. I was urinating blood, almost dying.
No, I don't understand these things. Like, that is why we're launching a project called the Love Project, which is a project for domestic violence and abuse against women and children. If you say you love me, why do you have to beat me? I mean, let's be real. If I love you, I show you love. What we need to understand is what love really is. What is love? Love is kind. Love is patient. Love is not cruel. So if you say you love me, why do you have to beat me? Are you my father? I mean, you're not my father. Why do you have to beat me?
I don't think that this love that we're talking about, people really do love. Some people just desire. They just desire something so much. And after being satisfied, they just want that thing out. So this is what I've taken out upon myself to advise these young men. You know, when you are young and that vibrance, what man wouldn't want you? You see, so it's the desire they have so much for you. So after they see that the breast isn't like the way it used to be, everything is changed. When
it was really standing there.
Yes. So the desire, it dies down. And
it's the truth. It's never the same. It's only a few people who still have it together.
It can't be the same. It can never be
Even
the
that
same.
one, sometimes you have to use push-up bra to hold it. I mean, let's be real. Let's just be real.
Yes, so I do advise young women that, hey, that love, you need to investigate, because it's really not real most of the time. So it's the desire to have this person so much. But after that desire is burnt out, then they need to get you out so desperately. And for me, I know that our laws are not strict. We have the best of them, but none of them is working. Because, I don't know, if this man has not abused me, it will be more than 10 times. It's been to the doctor.
Wow.
Yes. And each and every day, he says he will pay his way out. I'm not saying they are taking money, but that's what he tells me.
Sometimes you do a very good job. Like, sometimes you take cases there, and in a space of 24, 48 hours, an action is effected. Is it like, if you don't know somebody there, or if you are not prominent, they don't look at your case? Because some people bring cases and they tell me, when you go, they don't even look at your face.
But there was a time, I think it was just too... They realized that it was just too severe. So they matched their team, and he had to struggle with them for like 2 hours.
Are you joking?
Yes. So when they got him, believe you me, he's my husband. They messed up with him. And at the point, I was the one crying and said, please,
That's what happens. Because when you go to Doves, they'll tell you sometimes we'll go pick up these men, and these same women will come and cry.
And it's true.
And they release the men, and they go back home and beat you again.
The same. So it was like it was too much. I couldn't take it. I said, okay, he's my husband. I can't let you beat him to death. So whatever be the case. Let's now that you've disciplined him, let's see what happens next. I think I should have let them. For now, if I had that chance again, I would say never leave this man out of your presence, because he really needs to be disciplined. But that notwithstanding, it's still no way. It shouldn't be what I say. Once there's a wrongdoing and there are laws, I think it must take its course. Because if you leave a woman that is so compassionate, that's what will happen. But I think the law must take its course. It must deal with the people who fall prey to it.
So I think we all have to come together in one voice and fight for these things, because I am so passionate about it. I mean, come on, you are not my father. If you are my boyfriend, if you are my husband and you hate me, you are in trouble. I might not be able to hate you, but I'll make sure I lock you up. Because you are not my father. The only person who can hate me is my father.
Definitely.
Because I'm not sure your father will slap you and you want to slap your father back.
And my father, through all my years,
I'm sure your father,
he never
did that to you.
Not a single day.
So you I was
just brought up like a princess. And to see that, my father, at a point, he had a heart attack, because this man brought so much disgrace to my family, to me, because I was the joy of the family. But now, the same person had brought so much disgrace. He will beat me on the street, he will beat me and everywhere. And
the chief's daughter?
Yes. Believe you me. And what will you do? Now he has the money to pay his way out. He says he will pay his way out. And believe you me, because you can't be going for 20 times and nothing is happening. So what is happening? So at the end of the day, fine, he feels that he has money now. He can buy people. He can buy his way out. If that was really the case, I don't know. But that should be very bad and must not be encouraged. So when I got into that situation and realized that there was no help, because then my mom was in the UK, she's a strong woman, you will not mess with her. And my problem had also, yes, the no-nonsense person. But my dad, because of this issue, had gotten a heart failure.
Because of you?
Yeah, yes. Because I knew he had, because my dad was too sad. Because my dad had invested everything in this guy to think that, yes, she knows that, yeah, this, my darling daughter, I know will do everything for me. So if I give and I am weak, she's the person I will want to take care, I'll stay with, and I was ready to accommodate him. So my dad had put so much trust in me. And believe me, my mom had too. And so he had taken advantage of that. And the family had nothing. Because my dad's sickness, we were paying close to about 2,000 every week. And look at me, we're not... It was just my brother in the UK who was taking most of the cost, and then we were also supporting down here. Ones? The younger ones. Yeah, we were taking the minor ones, and he was taking most of the cost. And most often he was at the Confanochi on oxygen. Yes, for almost about 2 years. So we were very, very, very in a hot soup. Gone. And my mom too, at that time, was sick. She was not working. So it was like, it was terrible. And everything has gone into the hands of this man. And he was a champion then, you know. So he knew he can beat me to death and nothing will happen. Because he will pay his way out. And it was really
And at that time, he had money?
Not at that time, he had it. Because everything I entrusted in his hands now. And now, he's a rich man now. He believes he's a rich man now. If someone is living in his own house, riding a car of about 50,000 and more, and having other businesses here and there. And then we had, what pained me was, I had registered our company. It was me and him, Mart. And so it was partnership. So when I was in the house, he came, like he would come as if he's a changed person and said, oh, now, the internal revenue are just taking so much taxes. So I think it should be an enterprise. So I said, oh, whatever. If it's too much for you to pay, then he said, you have to sign the partnership in one name. Then I said, okay. So I was there one day, he brought a form and I just signed. That's okay, if it should be an enterprise.
And you call him an illiterate?
He is very smart because
he was an illiterate.
He's very
he dribbled you.
Yes, and he had these advisors who would always Because I know he wouldn't just know all these things. Because there was a time that he didn't.
And I'm sure he didn't even read what he brought you to sign.
I did read, but I didn't know that he had bad intentions. If it's taxes, then if it's too much taxes that you can't pay, I don't see why it should not be in an enterprise. So for me, I didn't know that he was trying to take over everything. So I just signed for him. And then what surprised me was the business number he was using was my phone, which I had registered in my name, MTN. He came for me for my card someday that his chip was missing, not knowing he was going to transfer my name into his name, because that was the contact numbers everybody had. So he had planned everything very well. So he changed into his own name, even my phone and my number. I carefully planned everything. So when I decided to take the matter up, I went and then they called him. And then he came around and said that even the house that the second house that he has built, it was his mother who built the house for him. The mother who was coming to ask for 1 million and 2 million, 100 Ghana and 200 for her farm, was the one who raised money within a year to build a house for him. So I don't have any share in the house. And what pains me at this point is that we married in the Catholic church. You know, Catholic have very strict next thing. But I want to really emphasize on this, that church is not a social club where we go and sing and dance. It's a place where we go to seek salvation and holiness, you see. So when people are in the church must, especially the leaders, must ensure that they govern people for salvation. Stacy, why am I saying this? My husband had brought in someone staying with him. The person is pregnant for him. For me, I wouldn't get married because I know the laws and I know where I want to get to.
So you're still single?
I'm still single. If he doesn't set me free, I have no right to even get married, okay? So many times I went to them and said, fine, I'm not forcing that he should come and marry me. At least he should do the right thing to set me free. So there was a time I went to our parish priest and I complained to him. And he says, hey, if you are free, then it means you can enjoy your life. I said, how do you want me to enjoy my life?
That's what the priest told you?
Yes.
To enjoy your life.
And then I said, how do you enjoy your life? And what is the meaning of enjoying your life? Does it mean I should go around and mess around? Or does it mean... I think, I don't know. And then I emphasized that they should call him to come in. They said, and what pains me more is that every Sunday he goes to church and take communion. And it's not like the church doesn't know. There was a time I asked the priest and said, he comes to church, he takes communion. You know he's staying with someone and the person is pregnant. The person is even someone's betrothed fiancé that he had a child with. You know, and you know, I've been here. And he comes on Sunday and take communion and you don't care. Then he said that once God has not judged, how would you know God has judged him or not? Do you want the person to die before you know God has judged him? You see, he said once God has not judged him. You know, but I said, you know, it's a wrong move. At least get the person to do the right thing. And if that is not done, at least sanction him. Let it be a deterrent for others to know that if I act this way, if you sit down and you just don't care, then I don't know. So I believe that it's happening. I know it's happening everywhere.
In a lot of churches.
In a lot of churches. We go, we socialize, but the leaders themselves are not ready to I don't know, to take the people through to salvation. They are not seeking the salvation of the people. I think they just enjoy to see a big congregation and then they believe that that is successful. But for me, I think it's a no-no. I always tell them. Because if someone who is married in the church, where there is a hierarchy, there is a priest, there is a catechist, there is the church elder, there are the counselors.
Was the church part of the wedding ceremony?
Very much. There was the counselors too, a priest ordained us. And if this person bypassed the church with the mother, took a drink home, and can still be a member of the church and stay with the woman, and I don't know, and the church thinks that they don't have anything to say then I believe that we are not really seeking the salvation of the congregation. You see, I go to church on Sundays and I don't take communion because sometimes I ask myself, what are we here for? I sit down and I see people, happily waving their hankies, tossing them up and down. And I ask myself, are these people seeking salvation or they are just enjoying themselves? Because for me, I'm very critical about my life. I always analyze my life. Is this move right? What if God had come to meet me in this action? You see, so every day in my life, I do analyze. So if somebody is confidently living in such a state and you are a priest and you know it and you tell me that, one told me that, you see, when a man does that, it's not as serious as a woman would do it. Wow. So I asked him, did God differentiate the sin for men and sin for women? You
Very
see?
smart.
Yes, so I think that the whole thing
they make it feel like it's a man's world and it's okay for a man to do everything and not okay for a woman to do anything. But it's not even about that. Once the Bible has given us the instructions, you have to follow it, and you being the priest should be the one to initiate it.
Very much. Very much. And he said that, you see, it's not as serious as a woman. I said, what are you telling me? So that a man can live anyhow, but a woman cannot. And then in some sense, women do and it's so serious, but men do and it's normal. What Bible really emphasizes on that? Why I'm saying this and why I'd wanted to have this platform to say this is that I've seen the Catholic just doesn't care. And it's very serious and they must sit up. Because I took 5 years and I think it's the Archbishop who doesn't know this. You know, I made sure that everybody who had a responsibility in that marriage knows what is going on. Oh. And nobody even made the time to even make the effort to meet the person, to go to the person. They just don't care, you see. So it happened to me. I was a chorister. I even established a youth choir in the church. I was an active member. Oh. And if you just don't care whether I live or die, when I had to go through this, then what is the church there for? You see. So do we have to wait until Jesus comes and judge us and condemns us into hellfire before we know that what we were doing was wrong? It's a no-no. And then after he had abandoned me and my children, you know, there was a time I went there, he beat me up mercilessly. And with me,
after all those beatings,
yes, he does, even quite recently. Because,
quite recently?
Oh yes, my first daughter, when she was going to school, our first daughter, he wouldn't pay the fees. I had reported, you know, the school was almost vacating and this one was still not doing it. And those things irritate me. And many evenings you see him by the roadside buying drinks for women and friends, just spending and making sure that I and the children go through hell. Difficult moment. So most times I lose it. I want to just, you know, I know I'll get blues, but I'll just go there and then suck my sins into his head. You say, and that is where I get the yes, definitely. And then he will also pay his way out, like he always say. But I thought that if it means dying for the right thing, I'm ready to do it, because this guy I know is not ready to change, and nobody is also ready to talk sense into his head. And then I know also that our rules, our laws are too lenient. Just like the church doesn't care, the law doesn't even care. Because it can't be like in 2013 or 12, I went to social welfare, they called him. They said, okay, fine, if you're sent a drink, go ahead and then just end the marriage. There's a procedure. Yeah. Then he said, okay, he responded, he finally said he was going to compensate me, find a place for me to stay, and at least every month until I get married or probably whatever, he will give some maintenance. Mm-hmm. Ask me if he had done it. You see, I went there several times and they said, then you have to go to court. Mm-hmm. You see, so I tried making the efforts. And then when I went there, they said that I went to see some lawyer. He said I need to pay like 2,000 Ghana cedis, which I don't have. And subsequent times, I have to pay the transport or fuel his car to the court, which I couldn't get. So
Now, what do you do for a living?
now, I don't know. That is why, to know that God is so merciful. Now I'm in school. I went to the university. I sat down and I said, I have to rebuild my life. So I went to the university. I'm in the 3rd year. And then what I really do with my life is that I have an album. I go there. I talk to the young women. I go out. As I sell it, I also advise young women who are coming to really mature enough to get into these things and to also ensure that the men they are getting married to are the rightful people, to know them well, to understand, because men change. Many men change when they see money, and we don't really have the laws to protect us. So if you're a young woman and you are going into marriage, you need to be very careful.
You're really brave. I think we should give her a big round of applause. Because most women would be afraid or shy to open up and talk about these things. Because I know a lot of, if we should line up 20 women, 20 married women, about 8 of them are abused severely in their homes. But they wake up every day, they wear their makeup, go to sit in their cars and drive as if nothing is happening. I should say I'm really proud of you, and thank you very much for sharing your story. And I know you're going to be a wonderful resource person for the Love Project, because we want to make sure that every woman knows their rights and knows that if you say you love me, I'm not your punching bag.
Yes.
Love is reciprocal. Love me, let me love you. What if all women wake up one day and we also wear our gloves? If you punch me, I punch you. That would be a very terrible situation for our children. So I think we should all sit up. Men should sit up. Women should sit up. And I know some women also abuse men. So it's not like it's a one-way thing. I know women who have poured hot water. Yeah, I know women who have poured hot water on their husbands because maybe the man tried to slap her. She was in the kitchen. She was trying to look for the thing to defend herself, and boom. Or she meets her husband with a girlfriend, takes anything. So it's a two-way thing, but it happens that women get affected the more most of the time. We have our own friend Joyce who came here, whose partner poured acid on her. We have another woman whose husband butchered her. I mean, sometimes we lose women. We lose women to these cases of domestic violence. So I'll say thank you very much for coming. How old are your children?
My first girl is 16, and the second is 11. And then the third is 9, and the last one, which he denies every day that she's not his. We are going through a difficult time. She's 6.
I say God bless you. Like you've really touched an inner part of me, and I know we're going to be working a lot with you on our campaign, the Love Project. I would ask my ladies, Nana, to help me. Yeah, Nana, I have something little for you, okay? For the 2 little adults, yes. So when you go home, give these to the 2 older ones.
Thank you.
Tell them Auntie Stacy said they should learn hard in school. And I know now we are in a computer age world, so I'm sure a tablet can help them a lot with their education. It's not for mommy. Because I will call and find out. You realize? The way the thank you came looks like mommy wants to have it. Yes, mommy, this is not yours. So please let my children know that God is with them. Okay. They should learn hard. They should make sure their grades are good. And the Lord will show his way and his power in their lives. Okay. And we also have this for you.
Thank you.
And we're saying thank you. It's coming from Yaz, our sponsor, and Hooch Conflicts. The Hooch, please give it to my children.
I'll give it to them.
I'll still call and ask who.
I'll give it to them.
And finally, before you leave, Restoration has something we do to support most of the people who come here. And this story you've shared is a wonderful one. And Team Restoration would want you to know that from now, we will be supporting you and the 4 children.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I know it's not easy, but with God, all things are possible. We don't have it in excess, but the Lord continues to order our steps. And I know he would take us far. So from now, your children are Restoration children. There are a few children we are helping. So far, we have 5. So now we have 4. So now we have 9 children we are supporting. And we know that God is going to show his way, and it will be it will be well.
I know. Thank you.
There is always light at the end of the tunnel.
That is it. That is
always
it.
light
I've been
at the
hopeful
end of
in
the
God
tunnel.
ever since. So I'm not surprised that God is doing this.
God has done it.
I'm very grateful.
It is well. It is well. I'd like to have a very big thank you to our sponsor, Fun Yoga Nutrition on the Go, to our supporters, Yas Washing Powder, Yas Sanitary Pad, to Hooch Corn and Choco Flakes, Special Ice Mineral Water and Special Drinks, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, and of course, my trusted investment partner. These partners will not run away with your money. You don't have to chase them. You don't need the media on their case. You just do it through your phone. Dial 721 or star 721 hash. You don't have to worry about where your money is going to because it will be in a safe place. Please subscribe to Swift now. With Swift, you're confident because you know where your money is. With Swift, you're confident because you know you're saving for a better tomorrow. It has been another wonderful episode of Restoration. I'm sure a lot of young women have learned something from this story we have heard today. And always do remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. See you next week.
Welcome to the end of the tunnel. I see a bright light shining through, and it's just for you.